We all are very fortunate to have with us such honorable dignitaries in our midst. So first, for opening remarks and for keynote speaker, I request and feel proud privileged to call our chief guest of the program, Professor Dr. Manoj Choudhary, sir, Vice Chancellor, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. I request you, sir, to please kindly give the opening remarks to the honorable gathering.
Good morning. First of all, I apologize that I got late as my flight from Vadodara to Delhi was delayed, and maybe that resulted into late start of this program. I feel very honored to be here today at the third Urban Infra Awards 2023 and want to thank the Urban Infra Group, the Urban Transport News and the Metro News. Yesterday, we completed 1 year of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. So briefly, I will also talk the context because it is in the context of India's modernization. As we all know, India is already the 5th largest economy of the world, with our economy size roughly of around $4 trillion. We are expected to be a developed country by 2047. And the easiest way to tell whether a country is developed or not is to simply have a glimpse at its infrastructure. How are the rails? How are the roads? How are the ports or airports? It's a very simple indicator. Therefore, infrastructure plays a very key element in making a country developed. It is in that context that government has significantly increased the expenditure on all of the infrastructure sector. This year budget, if we look, railways budget is 2.4 lakh crore, roads and highways ministry's budget 2.8 lakh crores, and so on. In 2021, government launched a major national master plan, the single biggest national master plan after our independence, that is PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. That involved 12 ministries, 42 departments, and focuses in essence on integrated development and synergy between the ministries so that the cost overruns or the schedule overruns that happens as part of, that has been the order of the day. Whenever we built a new rail line or a road, always and always we'll come across some hurdles as we go along the path, and that resulted into significant cost overruns or the schedule overruns. In order to curtail that, the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan was launched in October 2021. This National Master Plan, if we just have a look, not only that 16 ministries, 42 departments, the size of the plan is 100 lakh crore, roughly $1.2 trillion. We compare with the size of the economy, almost 30% of today's size of the economy is Prime Minister Gati Shakti National Master Plan. Therefore, this is a huge, ambitious national master plan. I'm not saying that $1.2 trillion will be spent in a year. It may be for years, next decade or so. However, the plan, the size, the magnitude is very huge. PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, coordinated using the technology provided through satellite imaging, through the center that is BISEG in Ahmedabad, with a network planning group that is set up under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, DPIIT, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, coordinates all of the new infrastructure projects that come, review them collectively to make sure that one ministry's plan do not get obstructed at a later point of time by another department's work that may be happening. Each of us may be trying to do work that is for the country, but if we do in a synergetic manner, then the chances of some hurdles that are coming down the line can be prevented. So that is the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, a significant expenditure on infrastructure to be done in an integrated planned approach using technology. Second important thing related to this is you build infrastructure. Infrastructure is to provide and enable services. Another important pain point for India is the cost of logistics. The cost of logistics in a simple language means the cost of moving people, goods or services from one place to other. How does it impact us? Today, the cost of logistics in India is around 14% of our GDP. All developed countries have a cost of logistics around 8% of GDP. What does that mean? What is the meaning of cost of logistics? In a very simple language, if I have to say, for example, if coal is mined in Jharkhand and if it were to be used at thermal power stations elsewhere in the country, and the cost of transporting the raw coal to where it is actually needed is very high, as the end user, we will end up paying per unit higher electricity charges because that cost has to be somewhere dealt into. Therefore, cost of logistics plays an important part into domestic prices of within the country. Similarly, as India were to become a developed country, our exports have to rise significantly. If the cost of items we are manufacturing, designing in India, and the cost of taking them to the ports, because much of the international traffic is still handled by ports, around 85% or 90% by ports. If we take those items that are manufactured in India for export to the port, and then they go through the sea route to whichever country they are destined to, if the cost of transporting to the port is very high, from where they are manufactured to the respective port, that adds to the overall cost, and therefore export competitiveness of the country is impacted in a negative manner. That is the impact of cost of logistics. Today, our economy size is roughly $4 trillion. We are 14% cost of logistics. And if we were to become a developed country in 2047 and assume our economy size goes to 35 or $40 trillion, and if we are able to cut down the cost of logistics from 14% to 8%, just look at the significance of how much $1 trillion we will have to spend on various social development schemes that are possible, because we are unnecessarily wasting that money. Therefore, infrastructure development has to go along with leveraging and enabling that infrastructure to provide better logistics services, because ultimately infrastructure, whether railways, roads, highways, ports, shipping, whatever we do, is for moving goods, people or services from one place to other. Therefore, infrastructure and logistics go hand in hand. In order to cut down the logistics cost, government set an ambitious plan that by 2030, we will bring the cost of logistics in India from current 14% to a single digit number. These two are very, very big developments in India. The third part, when we are spending $1.2 trillion to modernize our rails, our highways, our ports, our aviation sector, the question is, who will do? In democracy, as we always say, it is development of the people, for the people, by the people. Do we have specialized talent who are specialized in the sector, who will do this thing for India to become a developed country over many years? Because such a huge expenditure cannot merely be done in an unplanned manner. It is in that context that last year, through an act of parliament in 2022, India's first university focusing on transportation and logistics sector, called Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, was established by the parliament in 2022. It was operationalized on 6th of December. Yesterday, we just completed our first foundation day. We had chairperson Railway Board as our chief guest, and we also held our convocation ceremony. So what does Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya do? It will cover all the transportation sector. We have already started with railway engineering as the programs. We will move on to highways. We have signed up big MOU with Airbus. Airbus and Boeing, as you know, are the two biggest airline companies in the world that make commercial aircrafts. In India, as the aviation sector is expanding, there is a need for 27,000 aircraft maintenance engineers, and there is no university that does that. Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya has been mandated through that MOU with Airbus to cater to this real need of India. Similarly, we have signed big MOU with Ministry of Port, Shipping, Waterways, Indian Maritime University to start programs and joint programs on port and shipping logistics. Our current 5 programs that we launched this year are BTech programs, just like all IITs. However, each of these programs have a specialization in rail engineering. That creates its only and the unique degree in whole of India offering rail engineering. For example, if someone does a BTech in civil engineering, he or she definitely will study building materials, surveying, construction, geotechnical engineering, water resources engineering, all things. However, in Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya BTech in civil engineering, he or she will also study 20% of his course curriculum as railway track technology, railway bridge technology, railway station design, cargo terminal design, railway tunnel technology, railway land management, and so on. Similarly, if someone does a BTech in electronics and communication engineering, he or she will do 80% similar to that in IIT Bombay, like analog electronics, digital electronics, communication systems, signal processing. But for 20% of the content that is rail engineering focused, like railway signaling systems, communication-based train control, European train control system, cyber security, Govt, and many of these aspects, thus making this India's only university to offer a curriculum related to rail engineering. Rail engineering is a starting point. In next year, we are launching programs related to aviation technology along with Airbus. We are launching programs related to shipping technology for the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, because this is the infrastructure sector. Similarly, we offer programs on MBA. Two programs that we have are, one is in logistics and supply chain management, second is on transport economics and management. I know today one of the session we are going to talk about infrastructure finance. So every single program we launched is this. Programs are at bachelor's, master's level, and next year we are introducing MTech programs, PhD programs, and so on. That is the first mandate, that is to prepare young graduates for the sector that is growing in India, where there is a need for specialized manpower. Second aspect is, we are living in 21st century. What is the meaning of 21st century? If I have to simply explain, today every single thing that we are doing, whether you browse social media sites of Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, is all 21st century product. All companies that were created in 21st century, whether you book a shared ride in terms of shared transportation, Uber, Ola, everything is 21st century product. Whether you watch a Netflix or a YouTube or you do shopping using Amazon, I have to highlight that this is 21st century. We are only 23 years in this century. The meaning or the message I want to highlight, re-emphasize is, in 21st century, two things have happened. Firstly, the rate of technology development has intensified significantly. Technology is changing our lives very fast. I am not even talking about AI, machine learning, quantum technology, so on. I am only talking about what has already been established. And therefore, you can expect how this technology, the new technologies are coming and how they will change the world much sooner than what we expect. Second thing, what has happened is, once a technology is developed, the rate of its deployment into human life has intensified even further. Hardly 3-4 years back, you will see some technologies developed. Today, ChatGPT, maybe 1 year back, today almost every student is using. Whether for right or wrong reasons, that's a different part. So the technology deployment has accelerated even further. When we are talking of transportation system, we cannot be away from this technological change. How the route planning has to be done in optimized manner will be determined by artificial intelligence algorithms and machine learning algorithms. How we have to maintain our assets in a predictive manner through predictive asset maintenance shall be done by AI, shall be done by sensors technology, shall be done by IoT track and trace technology. Therefore, in our transportation sector is undergoing a huge transformation, and that transformation is technology enabled and technology driven. Unless we are able to adopt that technology in a faster manner, we definitely cannot catch up, we cannot realize our dream to be a developed country. Therefore, what is happening? We have a vast workforce that is currently working in the field. And with changing technology need, we have to upskill themselves very regularly, because when technology is changing, we cannot say that those people no longer know what is needed and therefore we need to replace them. It cannot happen. Our careers are 35, 40 years old. And as Toffler says, that illiterates of the 21st century, I repeat, illiterates of the 21st century are not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn. Therefore, even if all of us are working in the field, whichever railway today is employing 12 lakh employees, and each sector, you take all of the infrastructure, transportation sector together, we have metro, for example, Delhi Metro plus all the metros in the city have 50,000 employees. We have to upskill themselves to the latest technology because technology is changing every 5 years. If we are introducing Vande Bharat trains, these are examples of the latest technology. Every single aspect is a new technology. How do we train our workforce? The second mandate of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, therefore, is for executive training. This year onwards, all the Indian Railway officers who have been recruited through the civil services exam for Indian Railway Management Service, their entire technical curriculum has been prepared by Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. The content will be delivered as a nodal agency by Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. We will, of course, include experts from all over, wherever we can get from railway facilities, railway training institutes, IITs, and so on. And their evaluation of these railway professionals shall also be done so that we can award a master's degree to them when they complete their 2 years. Therefore, after this year, almost every new railway officer entering the railway workforce shall be alumni of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. 20 years down the line, if we were to organize an urban infra 2047, for example, I hope to see that the room is full with MDs, CMDs, CEOs, everybody who is an alumni of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, because we will cover all the sectors of transportation, railways, highways, and so on, and it being India's only university to do that. Third important point is, as we told, we launched the Gati Shakti scheme in October 2021. We launched National Logistics Policy in 2022. How many people actually are using? Ministries are using, many departments are using. But logistics is not only in railways or in roads. If there is a food and civil supplies department, in a state, in a district, that is logistics. In defense, there is logistics. In moving medicines, there is logistics. Therefore, on 4th of October this year, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya signed a big MOU with Ministry of Commerce and Industry, under which Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya shall be the nodal agency to train all the administrative service officers of all the states and of center in various aspects of how Gati Shakti National Master Plan and its technology layers have to be used to plan. For example, a PWD is making roads. Roads in India, there are multiple agencies. You have National Highway Authority, then you go to state level state, then you go to village level, maybe panchayats. How all of them can use technology of the Gati Shakti plan so that there is a synergetic development that is possible. So entire training plan for these 50,000 officers is a responsibility of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. I have been in IIT system for only 2 years. I worked in the industry for 21 years. I worked in the telecom and semiconductor industry, happened to also lead a team that developed world's first 5G chipset, also that of semiconductor chipset. I also am privileged that I got a chance to be an inventor of 31 granted patents all over the world. Therefore, I can safely say, with whatever limited knowledge I have in technology, that India's transportation sector can only progress and will only progress if it can adopt technology faster. Whether how we modernize our warehouses, when we build our Gati Shakti cargo terminals, when we create dedicated freight corridors, every single thing is technology enabled, and that is where the mission of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya is very important. In today's context of urban infrastructure, whether we talk of railways, we talk of metros, we talk of EV charging points, even one of the important technological challenges, still I say in EV vehicles, for example, if I were to use, still there are not accurate systems and methods. Just like in car, we can see in petrol how much petrol is left and how many kilometers it can approximately run. Still, accurate algorithms that can predict the state of charge or state of health of the battery is still not available. Once we move to that, how do we create charging stations? There are multiple challenges. Another important point of urban infra, I know it is not mentioned, is telecommunications. As we create more and more dense environments in urban sector, not only movement of one place to other, we get connected. how do we plan our telecom infrastructure? That will become another challenge, because every single thing, whether metro or your buses, buses are also moving to a sustainable future. We already have heard about hydrogen powered buses. Hydrogen powered train will be introduced in 2024. So that part is also taken care. Main important part is how do we ensure a sustainable telecom infrastructure as part of the urban infrastructure, because without which none of this will work. With 5G introduction, we have to have towers placed much more closely than what were in 4G. And we have to make sure that the signal coverage is well, because most of the things that now we are going to work on are based on sensors that will produce data. That data has to be transmitted reliably, resiliently, and therefore even I want to propose that telecom be considered as part of the urban infra as we go forward. Once again, I want to commend the organizers for organizing this important conference on urban infrastructure, where we will cover many aspects today. I looked at the program, the aspects related to sustainability, aspects related to metro, related to rolling stock, signaling operations. Many of the important aspects will be covered. I really want to commend the organizers for that. And I believe that it is only people, it is only and only people who will create whatever we want to do. And I want to end by saying that India is changing. We are all aspiring to achieve great things. And if we want to have something which we never did, then we have to do something which we never did. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your immense knowledge with the august audience. I request Ms. Mamta Shah, ma'am, and Mr. Vinod Shah, sir, to please kindly present the memento to our chief guest of the program. Please give the memento to Professor Dr. Manoj Choudhary, sir, Vice Chancellor, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. Sir, please join with the dignitaries. I request you, sir, Chauhan sir, to please join. Thank you so much. At the outset, I would like to thank everyone for giving your valuable time to be with us and sparing and giving your valuable knowledge to the audience.